In this video, we're going to do some rust repair. We are going to cut out the rusted sections of this inner fender well and weld in new solid sections. The goal in this video is to make this fender well look like this fender well, which I've already repaired. And of course, this is being done to my 1967 FJ40. The reason there's so much rust in this area is because there's a support inside the fender well. This is here to give you a solid place to attach the seat belt and the roll bar. However, dirt and water get trapped in all these open spaces, which causes a lot of rust, so the later FJ40s don't have this. So the first step in this process is to cut out all the rusted metal. To do that, I'm using a 4.5 inch cutting wheel on my grinder, and it is 0.04 inches thick. I'll put a link in the description to all the tools that I use on this project. After cutting away all the rusted sections, I'm able to remove that steel support. Next, I strip back all the paint along the cut edges so that I'll have a good surface to weld onto. I like to use this Black Hawk stripping disc. It's also 4.5 inches. Then I flatten out any bent sections with this hammer and dolly. I'm going to be cutting some of the repair sections out of this piece of the 72 Land Cruiser. This gives me the body lines that I need, as well as the right gauge of steel, and it even has a new attachment point for the seatbelt, so this is perfect. It takes a lot of trimming and fitting and trimming and fitting for me to get a patch that I'm happy with, but once I have it, then I'm ready to start welding it in. When it comes to welding in a patch like this, it's very important to try not to warp the metal. If you warp the metal, it's going to be extremely hard to get that warp out, so it's better to just not warp it in the first place. And the way that you avoid warping the metal is to not let it get too hot. And the way that you avoid letting it get too hot is to not weld a very big section. As you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm putting a few tack welds in, and then I'm blowing a bunch of compressed air on the metal to cool it off. I do some tack welds, blow on it, tack welds, blow on it, tack welds, blow on it. I've used this method on multiple projects in the past, and I've kind of learned something recently. What I used to do was just tack welds, as in just tiny little spots of welds. And basically I would just try to fill in the entire length of the weld with a whole bunch of these tiny little spots. That way it didn't overheat. The problem with that method is that it's almost impossible to fill in all the little pinholes between those welds. You keep grinding it back and then trying to weld in those pinholes and then grinding it back and welding in the pinholes, and you just kind of never really get a nice solid weld across there. So what I've learned through trial and error is that I can actually do a weld about 3/8 of an inch long. Not half an inch, I think half an inch would be too long, but about 3/8 seems to be fine. So I put enough spot welds in place so that I leave about 3/8 inch gaps, and then I go back through and I do a little strip, 3/8 of an inch long, and then I blow on that to cool it off, and then I do another one, and I keep going like that. And that seems to work for me, so I can get a nice solid weld without having any warping of the metal. After the panel's welded in, I knock down the high parts of the weld with a grinding wheel. This is the grinding wheel that I happen to have on hand, but probably any brand would work just fine. It doesn't take long to knock down the high part of the weld, and I try not to be too aggressive. I don't want to cut into the metal too much. You can see here what the weld looked like before and after I used the grinder. Next up, I use an 80 grit sanding disc on my pneumatic angle grinder. This process also goes really quick, but it makes a really big difference. You can see here that the joint between the two pieces of metal is pretty much completely gone. So I repeat the same process around the rest of the panel. I grind it back, I sand it down, and then I use my stripping disc to strip off all the paint, and now this is what we're left with. Next up, I moved on to some holes that have been drilled into these panels in the past. Now, to plug holes, you can do this in a few different ways. You can cut out tiny little round discs and you can try to weld those in, or you can just fill the hole with welding rod. That's what I do. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Filling the plug holes is pretty much the same as welding in the patch. We want to do a little bit of welding, then cool it off, a little bit of welding, then cool it off. Once I've filled in the hole, I go over it with the grinder again, being careful not to grind too far into the metal. Then I go over it again with the sanding disc, and this is the result. Again, there's almost no sign of where the holes used to be.
Walter, what's up, buddy? It's good to see you, Walter.
And after using those same techniques to fill in all the other patches and holes, this is what we're left with. I also clean up the back side of the welds. I don't grind them down smooth because I don't think that's necessary. You're never going to see them, but I do want them to be clean so that they can be painted over and well sealed. And after going over everything with some Weld Thru primer, this is what we're left with. So we went from this to this. In the next video, I plan to finish prepping the rest of the floor, and then I'm going to be spraying down a bed liner that is color matched to the body of the truck. So be sure to check that out. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel, and you'll be notified when that next video comes out. Thanks for watching, guys.